Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. Mail call time. A package from Hong Kong from a man named Marco Wong of Nautilus, Hong Kong, and he actually reached out to me about 3 days ago asking me if I would be interested in reviewing one of his new products known as the Nautilus Spinner. And lo and behold, it's really fast. It's been only 3 days and I've received the package. So we have the Nautilus Spinner in this box, everyone. Let's just crack it open, okay? Oh wow, there's more than one? What? Okay, I did not expect more than one. I thought there was only going to be one, so this is cool. And there seems to be a note in there. Nice. Wow, look at that, guys. This is even bigger than the frame, look. What? Okay, let's just have a look at this note. This is information about the spinners. 6 cm length, 3.2 cm width, thickness about 1.4 cm, 118 grams. That's perfect, man. It's within the range that I like. R188 hybrid ceramic, finish, satin finish and polish finish. Many two-prong spinners on the market. I wanted to explore beyond this generic shape and design a spinner which incorporated curves along multiple dimensional planes. So, wow, that sounds pretty cool. Design also gives the spinner a sense of fluidity. Nice. Button design, micro screws and watch bezels. Oh, that's cool. Here's the website for the online shop, nautilushongkonglimited.com. The listed price is USD 80 excluding shipping fees. Hope you guys like my design. So for your information, satin finish will patina very fast. I've actually taken a look at the website ever since Marco contacted me, and I also noticed that they also wrote the same thing. Satin finish will patina very fast. So let's just check it out. Let's look at the boxes here. They are cardboard. They got this very nice gold foil printing here. Wow, even in between it's gold. That's some crazy nice detailing. So let's just focus on one box first. Oh wow, look at that. It's wow, and there's even a felt pouch. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna put this box aside, but that extra touch, man, that inside here is gold as well. That's nuts. Very nice packaging. Oh guys, my hair's standing. Look at that presentation, guys. Wow, what? Nice foam. They've even got foams for just this to protect the spinner. That's nuts. Wow. So this is the satin finish. Wow, it looks really good. You guys get a good look at this because I'll be putting this one on my EDC because I want to see how fast and how it patinas actually. Let's get this out. Wow, guys, I've never felt anything like this. This is nice. You know I had to try that out, right? Scratch it. Nice. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get the other one so that we can see a comparison. Guys, I'm thoroughly impressed. Wow, look at that finish. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Look at how polished that is. Look at that mirror polish. Look. Oh my goodness. It is really well done. I've already got my fingerprint on it. Look. That is something else. I've never seen such a beautiful finish on a spinner before. Wow, and I'm talking about like when you receive it, like this amount of polish. Wow, like the amount of time and effort put into this polish is nuts. Okay, this is crazy. I'm gonna spin this one and then let's look at the reflection. Okay guys, here we go. Oh, sweet. I'm gonna get this plastic thing and put it aside. Wow, look at that reflection, everyone. Look at how nice that is. 2 domes. Look. Wow. Oh man. It's spinning so well. Very well balanced. Huh. Okay, this is very impressive. Very impressive. Let's give this one a spin. Oh guys, 120 grams, hefty. I like it. Okay, this really feels like something else. This feels so high-end. Like, I didn't even realize how heavy brass could be, but this is pretty damn heavy. Time to undo the buttons on one of these, and I'm doing it on the satin version. Okay, so it's the screw cap retention system, which is nice. Buttons are specifically turned as well, so that's cool. And they didn't even skimp on the satin finish on the underside of the button, so look at that. Very nice, everyone. Very nice. I don't know what these lines are. I have no idea what they are, but I think that maybe it could be something that was holding it up, the buttons up, when they were doing the satin finish. I'm not so sure. For this one, it's comfortable because the mirror polish kind of, you know, like, because it's so smooth, it kind of already provides a certain amount of grip. It's not slippery. If you guys know what I'm talking about, yeah. And here is a stubby for size comparison. It is much bigger than a stubby. Look, about 25% longer than a stubby. But in terms of width, it is pretty comparable. It's got a nice curve in here. And it feels really good. Like, it feels smooth all over. I really think that they did a good job on that. Pretty comfortable so far. I'm liking it. Very nicely done Nautilus logo on one side. Nice touch. I like that. I like that. Not over the top. Very nice. Reminds me a little bit of the talk bar, you know, when they actually had that MD engineering stamp or the infinity stamp on one side. Pretty cool. It's the same way I did my Hyperstone. Had my name just engraved on one side. And guys, it is very, very smooth. Look, no jutter, no wobble. Very nice. Of course, it is a bar spinner, so this is going to affect it, you know, the gyroscopic effect. I think we should be at the point of time where we're all over that. We should all have a common understanding of the gyroscopic effect on bar spinners by now. But yeah, when we talk about wobble, there really isn't wobble. Look, like the buttons are not shaking at all. So this thing is very well balanced. Marco, thank you so much for these. I don't know what to say, just thank you. These are awesome. These are amazing. They look really, really good. But as always, guys, I'll be putting this on my EDC for the next week or so. And I have decided to go for the satin finish because I want to see how it patinas. Wow, this is something else. This is really something else. And I'll catch you guys in the next part. So far, so good. Wow.
24 hours later.
We're out at lunch today. I'm wearing my lucky Hello Kitty t-shirt that I got from Osaka, Japan at Sanrio Land. And it's just like the start of day 2, holding the Nautilus with me. And it's true, man. The brass patinas really fast. Look at that. Like, look at how dark the patina is, especially on the raised lines here. That's nuts. Anyway, more food, and more food for Hong Fu. I've got salted egg and bacon pasta. I know it's strange, but it's a very typically Singaporean kind of a thing, where we have a salted egg sauce. So here we go. Mabel's having the same thing.
That's nice.
And then we got this, which is a unique dish to this place. So this place is called 23 Jump In, and this is mushroom pizza waffle. Really?
Yeah.
The last time we came here it was sold out, so this is our second time here. I ordered one for myself, so I'm waiting for it too. Tetris and Stephanie are having
Fish finger pasta rice bowl.
fish finger rice bowl. What's the sauce on it? Nacho cheese and
Yeah, nacho
mayo.
cheese and mayo.
Is it good?
Not bad.
Oh, I've got Thai ice milk tea.
No.
Thai ice milk. It's pretty legit. Pretty legit. So I'm gonna dig in, but yeah, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the waffle to come, then I'll dig in. But so far this is good. Still getting used to the way of holding it because it's a little bit narrow. Oh nice. Oh nice, it's here. Wow.
That looks so plain. Yeah.
But I bet the taste is good.
Oh no, yeah, a bit salty.
Mentaiko is salty. Mushroom pizza waffle, let's try it out.
Oh my god, it's 120 already.
Oh, waffle is really, really crispy. Good waffle. Okay, here goes. Wow. Oh, it's good. There's no actual like tomato or like pasta sauce. Yeah. Do it. I'll give you some. Nice. It's good. Really good.
No piece.
The last time I came here, I ate something salted egg also, but it wasn't this. Really? It's kind of different though. I don't think so. But this is nice.
Oh, you ordered something rice. Is it salted egg rice?
Yeah, some rice thing, right?
Yeah, I think.
But this is good. You want to try some?
1,000 years later.
It is day 4 of my EDC with the Nautilus spinner, and this is the satin finish one, and you can see that it's really black. But today I decided to bring along a set of XL spinnetic buttons because I wanted to change the buttons out to see how it would fit and how it would feel, because this, to me, in my opinion, is it's kind of slippery. I actually dropped it once, and you can find the knock right here. Let me just... There. I dropped it right there, but it's being covered up pretty nicely because of the patina. I think that it's actually very susceptible to knocks and scratches, but you guys can tell, see all those funny scratches up there. These are actually caused by fidgeting, you know, when it hits my fingernail. So that corner wasn't the only corner that had a knock. Let me see if I can find another corner. That's the biggest one, but right there, see? The other knocks as well, and those were just simply from putting this in my pocket. And the buttons are getting really dark, right? And there's scratches on the buttons as well, so that's kind of a turn off, I suppose. At first, when it started patinaing, it looked pretty nice, but now it's just really black. And so I brought the polished version out, and you guys can see the difference in color. Prior to this, you could tell that they were roughly the same color, the same shade of brass, and I basically let Tetris try it out. So
Hello. They're making me feel awkward. It's a fingerprint magnet. It feels more like a novelty piece where you just leave it there for display instead of fidgeting around, because, you know, you never know what happens when you drop it. Your heart will definitely feel pain now when you drop it. It's not cheap, so yeah, if you want to fidget more, I would suggest getting this one, and it changes color.
I'm gonna try to change the buttons for this one and see if it helps, because I feel that this is very slippery.
Yeah, the buttons are on the slippery side, but somehow I get a better grip when I preload it.
Yeah, but you hear how it's rubbing against your skin, right?
Yeah.
Like, that means basically the way these buttons are made, I feel like I can't hold it the normal way that I hold spinners. I feel like I have to kind of like hold it like with the more meaty part of my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I normally hold spinners this way, like that. But now because of these buttons, then I have to hold it this way. Because it's not really because of the button, but more of because of it's slippery. Then this part doesn't feel so shook. Doesn't feel so shook because it just slips.
True.
Yeah, but this way is good.
Yeah. Okay, how I normally hold is also with the minty part of my finger, so that's why it poses no issues to me. But yeah, flicking it forward is kind of awkward, but it feels good with the preload. So this one is a collector's piece. I suppose it should go back to my pocket. But in my opinion, honestly, this is a lot more fidgetable. I mean, I can't say fidgetable. This is a lot more grippy. I can actually grip it this way. It feels more comfortable. And Tetris has put the XL buttons on. Does it change the way it feels in your hand? Yeah. Which is better, you think? Spinnetic buttons. There's a little indentation. Oh, the concave, I see. Yeah, the concave gives you a better grip, and the engraving gives you, there's a little bit of texture there, rather than the little holes on this. I don't feel this portion here bugging me or any sort, so it's more just focus on the spin. But this morning when I woke up, I thought of bringing those buttons along because I thought after day 4 I kind of want to change the buttons and see how it feels. So well, I guess from today onwards I'm going to just use the satin finish version with XL buttons to see how it really feels over the next few days, and I will be, I guess, cleaning up and then keeping the polished version because, like Tetris said, it's too nice. I think it's really, honestly, too nice. Look at it. Yeah, I thought it was gold plated, man. Yeah, man, like gold plated, right? Yeah, it got such a nice gold sheen. Like, it doesn't look like the usual, I guess, yellowish kind of brass. It looks gold, man. So I guess I'll be using this one then. And the fact that the Spinnetics laser etching looks a bit like gold as well, it matches the tone of the whole spinner. I think that's cool. Yeah. Alright.
1 eternity later.
I am back after spending about 9 days with these two guys. To be exact, I spent 7 days with the satin finish and 2 days with the polish finish. I even brought the satin finish one out with me to clang over the weekend. I think some of you on the Daily Fidget saw my live stream. I had the loophole on me, but I actually had this guy on the side, but I just wasn't able to get my camera to face in that direction, so I just wanted to let you guys know. So ever since my first impressions till now, I have to be honest and say that my impressions have kind of changed between these two. And it's kind of strange because the impressions changed differently between these two, so I'm kind of looking at them as almost like as if they are two different spinners, even though they are the same spinner just with a different finish. Right, let me stop these two from spinning first. You will realize in the corner that the spin time of this spinner is super long. Now in that spin time video, it actually is the satin finish version, and that was day 4 of my EDC. So it wasn't the first spin out of the box. I just wanted to be very clear with you guys, but I don't think that after 4 days your bearing is really broken in, but I was getting super long spin times, and I do believe that is attributed to both the design as well as the weight of the spinner. Now I actually changed the buttons out from the original ones into the Spinnetic XL buttons, and I've explained it in my in-between videos. I hope you guys enjoy that part. I know you guys really like the food, so I always do my best to try and give you guys the lifestyle part of my review. So yeah, back to the topic. I changed the buttons out to the Spinnetic buttons, and that actually improved my fidgeting experience with the satin finish version. Now I mentioned that I carried this guy with me for a couple of days, and I was always afraid that I would drop it, scratch it, ding it up. That's why I didn't really put it on my EDC for too long, just 2 days. But I'll get to that in a short while. At this point of time, I want to give a huge shout out to Hobby Timmy for actually putting this on his EDC. If you guys have not done so, I suggest you guys go check out his video on it. He put it on his EDC. I don't know how he handles it, but mirror polish finish looks so good. I just don't want to destroy it, but respect to Timmy because I cannot do that. So I had this on my EDC, and I think on the 3rd day, if I'm not wrong, I already dropped it once, and I dropped it from a sitting position, so it's just like a seat's height. So that's about what, like a foot from the floor. But because of the finish, you know, this kind of satin finish, the dent is even more obvious. Now you guys can see right now over here, it looks like a bald spot. This is not the only spot that has a blemish, let's call it blemish, but I have one more right here. And the smaller one actually is not caused by the drop. I actually got this while having this in my pocket, and that is a little bit unfortunate. So I'm gonna put my finger here to mark out this side. Let's look for the other, yeah, right here, see? I got another one in this corner. This was also from my pocket. I got a couple more scratches, one more here, I think. Yeah, you guys can see it. That's like a little scratch. And all these nicks and scratches are all from just having it in my pocket. Yes, I put it in my pouch, but sometimes when I take it out of my pouch and I'm just fidgeting with it and I really want to just move off really quickly, I just grab it and put it in my pocket. And this is, I guess, I use my shitstone wash on this thing. So I just wanted to let you guys know that yes, it is a little bit obvious if you guys are getting the satin finish version and you actually knock it. I'm going to talk about fidgetability first because yeah, there'll be some points that I'll be crossing over between this version and the polished version. Now I'm going to leave this out of the way because I don't want to talk about the grip yet. I'm just going to talk about fidgeting with it. Now everyone has their own button preference, and I'm going to use this one because this was the preferred one I put on the satin finish Nautilus, aka the peanut. I always hold my spinners with this grip, index finger and thumb grip, and I generally perform preloaded flicks or push forward with it. Now while there's nothing wrong with it because the design is very smooth and very rounded all over, I generally perform the preloaded flick with my middle finger as well as my ring finger. I don't know why, but just on this particular spinner I do that. With other spinners I just use mainly my middle finger and I pull back, but for the Nautilus for some reason I use these two. So it feels more like a grip or like a really quick pull with these 3 fingers on my hand. So yeah, I don't know why, but it just feels a bit more satisfying this way. Pushing forward, however, even though it doesn't pose any particular problem, I don't feel so satisfied whenever I do a forward flick, and that's because this edge over here is so rounded. Don't get me wrong, it's super comfortable, but for me it's rounded to the point that the real estate or the surface area is really little against my finger, and so I feel my finger actually slipping off. It's either gonna slip off sideways like here or slip off this way, so I'm not able to get a very satisfactory forward flick. Maybe you guys can see. Now we're going to change the grip to my middle finger and thumb grip, and I'm going to talk about fidgeting with it with my 4th finger. Now this as well, there's no real problem. It's just that it's really smooth and I'm not able to give it a good solid flick or pull because my 4th finger is not that strong. This guy is a very hefty spinner. The same thing goes for the index finger when you're actually performing pulls or pushes or kicks with your index finger. Same thing applies. There's just not much surface area for you. But if you land up here, it's a lot easier and a lot more satisfying versus landing right here in the middle, because you're going to feel your finger just slipping off this way as you pull it back. See? Because it's really, really smooth. This particular satin version is really, really smooth. And that actually is, I guess, so smooth that it is more slippery than anything. So if you guys really like something really, really, really smooth, then yeah, get the satin version. But for me, it's too smooth to a point that it's become a detractor. That is my opinion. So now that I've said that, I'm going to change the buttons back to the original buttons and give you another reason why I prefer changing out the buttons versus the stock buttons. Now granted, the buttons are of a beautiful design. Like mentioned before in the early part of the video, in the note that Marco wrote, these were designed after watch parts, and this is actually very nice. It actually kind of completes the look of the spinner itself. But the satin finish is really, really too smooth. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say it, but it really is too smooth. And this particular dip over here, or that dish, doesn't really add a lot of grip for my particular way of holding a spinner like that. But if you guys perform a pinch grip, like for example, if you hold it on the tip of your fingers like that, then yes, it's going to be really comfortable, because this lip or the angled edge here really lends a lot of grip if you're holding it this way. So it's not going to want to slip around at all. But for people who hold it this way, like that, it's just going to slip off really easily because the whole thing is just so smooth. Now, if the recessed part was a little bit wider, I think that would make a lot of difference. But right now, it's just really small, so, you know, like that. Maybe that's the way Marco holds his spinners, so that could be the reason why he designed it this way. I'm not so sure. But if you guys are holding it in a pinch grip, then I don't think you're going to have any problems at all. For me, it just felt like it was always going to slip out, and it was really too smooth. And that's actually the reason why I dropped it in the first place. I was holding it like that, and I performed a preloaded flick. I stopped it and I pushed forward and it slipped out. That's exactly what happened, because I was paying attention to what I was doing at that point of time. I know. Most of the time, whenever we fidget with our spinners, we don't really pay attention, but it just so happened to be paying attention at that point of time, so that's why I'm able to tell that to you. Now, let's move on from this guy over to this. So the difference between these two in terms of the fidgeting, not the finish, is that this is so polished to a point that it is a fingerprint magnet, and that, I guess you could also say, adds to the grip of it. Now, it's really strange because whenever you have a really smooth finish spinner like this, like a polished finish, you naturally think or naturally assume that it's really slippery, right? But this is just super slippery and super smooth. This one actually starts to grip more, a lot more, to the point that I actually don't feel my fingers slipping off the buttons at all. Like, it feels like a good solid grip. Kind of like my skin just wants to stick to it, you know what I mean? And because of that fingerprint magnet, because of that traction there. And the same thing applies not just to the button, but also to the spinner frame as well, the body itself. The same reaction happens to my fingers when I'm performing preloaded flicks or pushing forward. And for the polished finish, I get a lot more satisfaction pushing forward, simply because I really feel the whole spinner gripping onto the skin of my middle finger, so much so that I don't even feel like it's slipping out at all. And I really, really like it. And wow, look at that reflection. Like, that's really one of the coolest things about this. Look, such a beautiful reflection, so polished. But right now you can see fingerprint magnet. So the same thing extends across to the index finger as well. So basically, yeah, that's the difference between the two finishes and how they affect the way I fidget with it. Now that I'm done with that, like I said before, I put this guy on my EDC only for 2 days because I was so afraid that I'd scratch it up. I found myself wanting to polish this all the time. It looks like a very beautiful gold tone rather than something made of brass, and that's really exquisite. Now, in order to kind of add more weight to what I just said, whenever I showed people this particular version of the spinner, everyone thought that it cost a few $100s. I kid you not, it looks so good. So that's really a plus point. And from that finish, let's move back to the satin finish. The satin finish is actually very nice if you guys are really into patina on brass. Now for me, I don't really know how to appreciate patina on brass, but this is the first time I've actually seen patina on a brass spinner that is just turning out so evenly and going so smooth, I guess. Like, smooth in a sense that it's not patchy or blotchy. Like I've mentioned before, I do own some other brass spinners, especially on my Hyperstone, but the Hyperstone just somehow patinas in a really weird way. It gets like this purplish hue at some spots, and then it's like splotchy and like, I don't know, it just looks dirty rather than a nice worn aged look. But this one has that nice worn aged look, and because of all these raised lines over here, I think these are very well thought out. They actually add an accent to the patina itself. So you guys can see the huge difference in terms of when it's spinning. see that reflection on the polished version, so shiny, but on the satin version, it's really just like a matte thing spinning around, and you can actually see very clearly the difference between the inner and the outer layer, and that's because of this particular accent over here. I really think that this is a very nice touch in terms of the design, so I like that a lot. Plus, this actually feels a lot like a worry stone. So those of you who are into the tactile feedback kind of thing, and if you're looking for something that will act as a worry stone, this is gonna do it for you because it feels so comfortable in hand. I cannot describe it in any other better way except to say that this actually feels very soft, and it makes you feel like you just want to hold it and just, you know, have it in your hand like that, and then you can just proceed to start flicking with it, and then going back to doing this and flicking it again. But versus this feels cold, this feels hard, this feels solid, doesn't feel harsh, but because it's kind of sticky, it makes you feel a little bit icky, you know what I mean? Like when you're holding it like that. And when you perform your flicks and everything, then your fingerprint just gets stuck here, and then you get like funny marks on the inside of the body and everything. So this is just something that I go through. So that's one of the reasons why I really just wanted to clean this up and keep this aside as a collector's piece, and then just fidget with this. But the buttons really were too slippery, so I changed the buttons out. So that basically is my experience with this summed up. I can't say that it is a very, very good experience. It is a good experience, but not the best. I would rate it about a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for the fidgeting experience. The comfort of this thing is really no problem. It's just too rounded to the point that it affected the fidgetability, and I needed to change buttons out. So that's why I wasn't able to give it a higher score. But for this one, I would say that fidgeting with it would give me an 8 out of 10. It's just that it's a fingerprint magnet, so that might be a detractor to you guys. And it's not the best, but it really does its job very well. And this, I think, is a good, solid in-between for anyone who's looking for a nice fidgeter as well as a long spinner. So really, at the end of the day, it really boils down to what you're looking for in terms of the finish and the body shape and the design, whether or not you like it. I'm gonna be honest and say that I don't think that the design really shouts anything. Like, it doesn't really shout like, oh, it's a beautiful design. In fact, I'm gonna just straight up say that to me, the whole footprint of it looks a little bit like Hello Kitty's ribbon or bow tie. One thing for sure is it doesn't look like a stubby, it doesn't look like a Byton, it doesn't look like anything else. This one looks like a prestigious art piece. Yeah, a prestigious art piece. It looks just like solid gold. This one looks like a peanut. I don't know, guys. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not bashing the product because I think it's a good product, but I would say for a flagship spinner, Nautilus Hong Kong, you guys have done a great job. It's got the right design elements in terms of having a long spinner as well as a very comfortable spinner. Just a little bit more improvements, and I think you'd have an even better product all in all. So on to my final verdict, everyone. This is going for $80 US. Doesn't matter whether you're going to choose the satin finish or if you're going to choose the polished finish, they are going to be $80 each. Now comes the point of time where you have to decide which of these finishes and what the pros and cons are between each finish that you want to get. If you want to get something to collect and keep, this is the way to go. This really looks so much more than what it's priced at. It looks like it's worth a few $100s, and I'm not going to deny that. It looks so good. I mean, if you guys look, hand polished finishes are not easy to do. They are very time consuming, they are very labor intensive, and this was done really, really well. And that stamping here is just beautiful. It's a very nice touch, very classy looking, and I'm not going to contest that this looks very classy. This is definitely a keeper for sure. This one has a very interesting finish. If you guys are into patina, this is the way to go, but brass is a softer metal, so you have to be careful when you're actually having it on your hand or on your EDC, because all these small little scratch knocks and dings and all that are gonna show up very obviously on this. So for me, what I'm probably gonna do is I might polish this guy up a little bit, or at least clean up the patina, and then I might throw it into my stonewashing rig and see how it turns out. Once again, everyone, this is the Nautilus spinner from Nautilus Hong Kong, going for $80 each. Links in the video description as always. Made in brass and currently only available in brass. I don't know if Marco or the Nautilus team will ever make these in stainless steel or any other base metals, maybe even exotics, I don't know. I can't say much about the design, honestly, because it doesn't really shout a lot to me. They do look good. It's a very classic direction in terms of design, but it's not that fantastic. And personally, I'm leaning a lot more towards the polished version, but only just for collection purposes, not for fidgeting. But if you're wanting to go for the patina qualities and you're a pinch grip person, you're gonna enjoy this very, very, very much. Now that's very subjective because of different hand sizes, I know. So if anything, I mean, you guys already know you could just easily change your buttons out to anything. That's about it, guys. I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Nautilus spinner is for you, and by extension, which finish or which version of the Nautilus spinner is a spinner for you. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I hope that you all have a great week ahead. Sorry for the long break in between. I've been really tired because I came back super early on Monday morning, and I'm talking about like a 6 a.m. flight, immediately touching down and immediately going to work from there. So I've been burnt out. I've been lagging a little bit, I guess, in terms of the video editing and output of the videos. So I hope that you understand, and thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next slice of my life. Bye.